Hey everybody, Mr. Hancock here. Welcome to week 11 again. This video will be a really quick video concerning the outline that is due this week. If you go back and look at your week 10, November 8th, this Sunday, is when your proposal outline is due. I know it's only been technically 2 weeks since it was introduced by the time it's due, but understand that a lot of this work, a big hunk of this work is going to be based, all of it's really based on your call to action essay, but a big hunk of what you're going to present is going to come from the call to action essay as well. So yes, it's going to be a little bit intense, but it's still definitely doable. So I want to talk really quick about this, mainly the proposal essay structure. So here you see the file of what this is technically, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Alright, so let me go ahead and tell you right now, as we're looking at this here, this is not an outline template. This is not what your outline is going to be. This just typically tells you the structure of the essay. So each one of these 5 points will be, most of them will be multiple paragraphs. The outline should be obviously focusing on details for each paragraph. So let's take a look really quick. Obviously, you'll notice number 1 and 5 are your intro and conclusion. You should know how that works. Specifically for your introduction, make sure you introduce your problem again, and then let your thesis come forward, which is telling your reader, hey, I'm going to use this essay to present to you a detailed plan on how to fix the problem. Now, going in, point number 2, I'd use 2 or 3 paragraphs at the most. I'd say 2 minimum, 3 most paragraphs here to remind, I use air quotes, here to remind the reader of the problem that you're dealing with. This is mainly what you've already done in your call to action. So a lot of the sources, you can come back and use them again. However, only 2 of those sources can count towards the required sources for this essay. But you can go in there and refer back to a lot of content. I would go in there, and since you're taking the whole call to action essay and trying to put it in 2 or 3 paragraphs here, I would take time to really kind of just focus on the main, most important, most compelling parts of your call to action here, okay? Don't forget, you'll still have to do in-text citation for those sources and still include them in your works cited page for this proposal. But that's pretty much what you're going to do there. This is kind of a reminder, a recap to the reader of the problem at hand, okay? Then we move into number 3. The next section of this essay, of this proposal, is the actual proposal of the plan. Notice it is what I say here. This is the heart of the essay. It is your multi-paragraph, step-by-step, detailed plan on how to fix the problem stated in your call to action. So now is when you're actually going to come in and say, this is how we're going to fix it. This research shows that this will work, or suggests this will work. And this is my personal, or my own unique step-by-step on how to fix this problem, okay? Then, number 4, this is something new, but this is pretty easy. This is what we would call a rebuttal or a counter-argument in a way. This is where you want to take time for your reader's sake to address that, you know what, we may anticipate running into these problems. There are certain criticisms for this type of plan, and here they are. And you want to tell the reader what they are. You want to be upfront and transparent with that. However, you don't want to stop there. Just let the criticisms and the concerns, linger in the air. You want to address them individually right after that and tell the reader that, these are possible concerns, but this is how we plan to get around it. This is why we think it won't be a problem. This is how we're going to address and overcome each one. And that will be that last section. 1 or 2 paragraphs for that, I'd say, and then you move into your conclusion, 1 paragraph, okay? So, obviously, you're looking at probably about 8-page paper, 1,500 words minimum, and I mean minimum. If you're hitting just 1,500 words on this, you're not getting the job done. You're barely scraping by with that. So, everybody should be probably pushing around 2,000 words for this. Let's say 8 or 9 pages. Like I said, a big hunk of this, a good 1.5 pages, is going to come directly from the call to action. So, this is typically what your structure should be, what you should be looking for as far as coming forward with a plan. You tell your reader you got a plan. You let them know, remind them of the problem at hand. You provide the plan, and then you come in and you address any concerns. But remember, by the time they get done with the concerns, they want to be confident that you are going to handle those concerns well and that they're really not going to be a problem, okay? It's just a typical proposal. Just think, if I were to come to you, or anybody were to come to you and say, hey, I think we need to, this is our plan on to become millionaires, okay? And they're going to tell you why you need to become a millionaire. Duh, we're broke. And then they're going to give you a detailed plan on how to do it and say, all right, we may come into some problems with obtaining this money, but this is how I plan, I think we're going to work out getting through those problems. So by the time they get done giving that proposal, you should feel good and confident about, yeah, I think we can become millionaires. You see my point there? It might not be a good analogy there, but you get the point. This is a typical proposal on how you would even just go forward to talk to someone about putting forward that plan. I've even said to you, and some folks in class, think of it this way too. Like you are working, you have a boss, and you go with your call to action essay and say, hey, we have a problem. Your boss first wants you to even convince them that you have a problem. Now, after you've convinced your boss of the problem, the boss will look at you and say, all right, we do have a problem. I want you to give me a plan on how to fix it. Okay? So now that's what your proposal is. You're going to come in and propose how, first off, you're going to remind your boss you have a problem. That's your call to action recap. Then you're going to put forth a detailed plan on how to do it. And then you're going to say, hey, we may have some problems here. We may have some people criticizing here, but this is how we can get through it. You want your boss confident to say, yeah, you know what, we have a good detailed plan. We know exactly what we're going to do to get through it, or to get this done. And we have a plan on how to address those problems, those anticipated possible problems to come up. So by the end of this paper, you want your boss to look at you and say, yes, that's a good idea. Let's go forward with it. All right? So with that being said, that's your structure. Your outline being due this week. Going back over here. Your outline being due this week by the 8th of November. Go back if you need. Go back and feel free to use the template, the outline template for the call to action essay. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to adjust it. It's not going to be a perfect C method because some parts are going to be different according to what you're doing with what part of your proposal. Okay, so the structure itself may require you to do some adjusting to the format. But still, feel free to use that outline template, but still need an outline. Be detailed, be clear. Include your sources in there. It'd just be helpful for you later. And let me know if you have any problems. All right? Thank you very much.